What's going on, Soul Nation? Ginger Prime here, and today I've got kind of a mixed bag, a dual stack, if you will. We have a little bit of a news regarding the closed beta test rewards that's going to be distributed after maintenance on the 31st. This is where you can get your Halos, your Dreamcasts, and more, so we'll talk about that. We'll go over the post in detail, as well as we also have Phantasy Star Online 2 expands to North America using the power of Azure. This is a Gamestack customer story. If you're not familiar with the Gamestack, that's Microsoft's like gaming resources, connections, kind of almost like their mini game developer conference, but they're providing these tools available for everybody. And obviously here is a customer story, a success story, if you will. And I find that stuff really fascinating, and I don't know if you will, so obviously take the news and run with it. But if you enjoy this kind of post, it would be awesome if you let me know in the comments below. I'm just trying to get a good read about what you guys are liking. Now, if you like this stuff as well, here's the standard YouTube pitch. If you feel like we earn your subscription here and you want to help us out with the algorithm, be sure to like the video and also hit that bell. That honestly, I think that's really where YouTube is headed, is all in that bell. That's going to be the moneymaker. That's going to be how you get notified if and when I post new videos. But again, no pressure. This is completely on you. That's what we're seeing, and it's, whatever. It is what it is. So that's the pitch. Let's dive into the details. I almost tripped up on my words. All right. So did you battle your way through the urgent quest, suppressing the foul spawn menace with a tenacity and bravery? Then ARX has your accommodations at the ready, and it is eager to honor those who answer the call to action. So how you claim this is visit your Visiphone. We've covered this in the past. Anytime there is a campaign rewards, your Visiphone is that computer next to the big old cube computer in which that you have your bank and more. Go talk to that. Go to campaign rewards. That's how you're going to get this. So if you did one urgent quest, you're going to get your Photon Halo C accessory and a Tri-Boost 100% consumable. 2 urgent quests, going to get you the Photon Halo A accessory and another Tri-Boost at 100%. The 3 urgent quests, going to get you that Dreamcast mag. RIP. I was not able to do it because of the issues with the servers, and life found a way. It's okay, though. It's okay. Anyway, for 4 urgent quests, you get the Wemo Camo Coated Edge and another Tri-Boost of 100%. You can have a quantity of up to 10 consumable for those items, and they're showing off a nice little picture of somebody rocking around with that Dreamcast mag. Very jelly. Very jelly about that. Now, after the regularly scheduled maintenance on the 31st, you're going to be able to pay the Visiphone a visit and collect your rewards and the received campaign items, and that's it. The items should now be in your inventory, and thanks again for competing or participating, one of the words, in the closed beta test. But really the meat of this video is all going to be diving into the Gamestack customer story. Jeez Louise, Brian, learn how to read. In July, Phantasy Star Online 2, PSO2, Japan's largest online RPG, will be celebrating its 8th anniversary of the PC version. And then Sega Games is currently working on the Xbox One version for North America, which they hope to be releasing in spring 2020. In addition to this, Microsoft Japan, who have actively engaged with the gaming industry through Microsoft Azure, have offered support such as the construction of a high-speed cloud platform by providing Azure Ultra SSD, also known as Ultra Disks at the time, their fastest storage solution. From the start of development, they have provided comprehensive support for PSO2 by supporting the team in a number of ways during the development of the Xbox version. They invited Mr. Takuya Segwa, Executive Chief Officer or Executive Creative Officer of Sega Games, and Mr. Norimochi Yonekura, I apologize for butchering their names, General Manager of Microsoft Japan Games and Entertainment Sales Division, to talk about why they decided to collaborate on the expansion of PSO2 into the North American market and the development concept and more. First, please introduce yourself. So, Segwa says, I'm Segwa from Sega Games. I joined Sega as a designer in 1992, and after working as director and producer and a manager of the development division for sports-related games such as Sakusuru, Let's Make a Professional Soccer Team, and Yakasuru, Let's Make a Professional Baseball Team. Again, guys, I'm so sorry. I currently supervise business as the IP owner of PSO2 and other properties. So then, Yonekura says, I'm from Microsoft, and I joined Microsoft in 2001, and I have worked on the Xbox-related projects for many years. Now, right now, our company is broadening its gaming scopes beyond just Xbox, and is hoping to engage with the gaming industry as a whole, and I'm overseeing Azure cloud utilization within the game industry since last year. So Segwa says, I've worked with Microsoft for several projects over the years, for example, on Jet Set Radio Future and Panzer Dragoon Orta, even back when it felt right to be working together. So tell me about PSO2 and the latest game to make use of Azure. So if you guys aren't aware, I am a software developer. I work actually extensively with the Azure development environment. It's really quite powerful and pretty fascinating stuff, and I am only scratching the surface of it. So this is, again, if that doesn't clue you in as to why I'm interested in this article, hopefully nothing else will in that regards. But let's go ahead and continue. So obviously, PSO2 and Azure. So Segwa says PSO2 is one of the largest online games in Japan, and this July it will be its 8th anniversary of its launch. The game was originally for PC, but it's now available for PlayStation Vita, PlayStation 4, and even Nintendo Switch as a cloud game. There is also a smartphone app, PSO2 ES, which acts as a companion tool connected to the main game, and it's made to be played anytime, anywhere. This title is an action-filled MMO or MORPG, and is mainly science fiction settings, but with different episodes that allow you to enjoy a variety of worlds based on Earth, medieval, fantasy, and more. So Yanakura says, after I saw the fan reaction to the video was shown at E3 2019, I thought I might burst into tears. The excitement of the fans made me happy, and since we've been anticipating the E3 announcement since I started this project with Mr. Segwa, seeing it actually happen made me feel really happy. Mr. S says, that way if I'm not making anybody's ears bleeds with my mispronunciation. That was really touching. A lot all got choked up. The Phantasy Star series has always been popular with North American gamers, and we're always planning on bringing PSO2 to North America. I was so glad that there was such a great response. So what can you tell me about the reason for using Azure for the title? Mr. S says, it started out operating PSO2 on site, but that we had always planned on moving it to a cloud-based solution for the North American release. The biggest reason for all of this was the issue of stability or scalability. There are more gamers in North America than there are in Japan, so it's hard to estimate how many people will want to play PSO2, so we decided to use a cloud-based server in order to avoid having people waiting to play the game, but being able to do so. And that was when we started considering Azure. So Mr. Y says, when it comes to the adoption of Azure, I would say that Microsoft made the first move. While AWS, Amazon Web Services, and GCP, Google's cloud platform, are more well known in game development, Azure is a new challenger to the space. It's true that a few years ago Azure wasn't optimized for gaming applications, but now I'm happy to say that we can compete on the same level and more compared with other platforms. And while the quality of our platform has evolved, we need more developers to see and hear what we can do. We realized that we needed a big title to showcase the progress that we'd made. And when Phil Spencer, the executive vice president of gaming, came to Japan and said, let's release PSO2 for the Xbox overseas, I thought, this is our opportunity. We accelerated the strategy, used PSO2 as the showcase. So I believe you looked into other cloud solutions besides Azure. What made you decide Azure was the best option? So Mr. S says, of course we looked into other services, but Microsoft's proposal was the best for the game overall from the support and the business perspectives. Looking at it from a global point of view, Azure is actually used by many game titles. The feedback from the companies outside of Japan was good, and when we looked at the benchmarks, we saw the results it had accumulated. It was really the only choice. For us, the most important point was, can we achieve high-speed environment with Azure? Can it offer the same performances as a server on the premise? North America is larger than Japan, and we tested whether users could play without delay, and the good responsiveness several times just to make sure. So, Mr. Weiss says, at the time, this from Sega Games' point of view, there was no reason why it had to be Azure. However, unlike the competition that we've had years of experience offering game services as a gaming platform, not only with Azure as a back-end server, but also with Visual Studio as a development environment with our Xbox division. To be more specific, we are the only company that can provide omnidirectional business-to-business support, such as our various technologies and services used in Sega Games' internal operations, which is our key strength. Only we can make this type of proposal, and I think that it's something that sets us apart from our competition. I believe that this was included in their overall deliberations. So Mr. S says, in that sense, they helped us localize the product. PSO2 is basically a pay-to-win game, which is interesting to play to win. Wow. There's my dyslexia kicking in. Thank God. I was like, whoa, what? That's a twist. No, play to win game. It's not a game where you can gain an advantage immediately by just paying money. The system may be unfamiliar to gamers in countries where pay to win is more common, but it may seem to cause them to wonder, why am I not progressing even though I paid money? My thinking was, fun is something that we all have in common. Unexpectedly, as I have found out through experience, that it is not necessarily true. That's why I wanted to thoroughly investigate how North American users played the game during the beta testing, and with the help of Microsoft, which has a base in the United States and a wealth of know-how in the industry, we were able to carry out the proper user testing with local gamers. Also, since Microsoft is also a games company, their ability to cooperate with using a variety of ways was also a great benefit. So their system had an overall benefits the game company could offer. When you actually made the transition, did the introduction of Azure into your game go smoothly? Mr. S says, yes, it did. We didn't have any problems. We just had a few days where we ran a test and got a report, and there was no problems. So Mr. Y says, I think that they were able to move from the on-site server without any problems thanks to Sega Games' technical ability. We provided them with our top engineers and our Azure development team from the head office, so it was on hand to offer support. At the time, Ultra SSD was still in its preview stage, and PSO2 was the first of its case to be used for that game. So Mr. S says, the Sega game developers loved the new things. They were very happy to introduce the system to their workflow. So far, the speed has been excellent. Mr. Y says, Ultra SSD supports up to 160K IOPS, so per disk, and achieves low latency of less than 1 millisecond. This is the highest standard of specification out there for all of our competitors, and it performed very well with PSO2. So Mr. S says, so Ultra SSD was really high spec. The service isn't live yet, but we don't know how it will actually perform. But it has been extremely fast in testing, and I think it's going to be great. It feels like switching from driving a regular car to a sports car. So I'm looking forward to seeing the response after the service starts. Lastly, do you have any message for the companies who are considering Azure? So Mr. Y says, as I've said in the beginning, Azure is currently in the position of the challenger in the Japanese game industry. That is why it is all the more important that we deal with each company sincerely and offer not only our cloud server, but the omnidirectional service that we can only get from Microsoft, utilizing all our technologies, products, and services. We want to continue to release and showcase products like PSO2. Mr. S says, I also often have the chance to talk to representatives of online game development companies from around the world, and I get the impression that more and more titles are starting to use Azure. Of course, Microsoft will say Azure is great, but the reviews from development companies who have used it are also very good. My main priority now is to continue working with Microsoft to introduce Azure to our systems and make the North American release of PSO2 a success. So far, so good, guys, I would say. I would love to know, obviously, your thoughts on this article. Apologize for kind of some of the light blunders. It's kind of a little bit of a crazy day here, and my voice is cracking. And I just wanted to sit down and get this out to you guys today to hopefully enjoy, and hopefully, whether you're working or whether you're kind of at home right now, just to sit back, listen, and hopefully you're enjoying being able to play Phantasy Star Online 2, and hopefully we'll get some news about the Xbox, or excuse me, the PC release at some point in the future. Anyway, guys, let me know what you're thinking in the comments below. I'd love to hear your thoughts, any and all. And I'll talk to you guys next time. Thanks for watching again, and I'll see you soon. Take care.